No, I can't do the Goku. My voice is shit.
You're listening. I can do Kid Kai pretty well. All right. This is Kid Kai. You're listening to Three Black King. Wait, shit. This is Kid.
I'm reading his off his shirt.
This is Kid Kai. You're listening to Three Black Geeks. And
What color is King Kai? He's blue.
and one blue god.
Based on the number of hands I shake from various ethnicities and backgrounds, etc. So,
we already done started halfway. How you doing?
yeah, how you doing? Yeah.
Now I did this with Vic Manonia.
Yeah.
So how do you say your last name properly?
Oh, Schemmel.
Schemmel. I always said it right then.
Yeah.
I've always said
Well,
it.
here's what's really funny about this, and I've been figuring out why this is. Chris is always accidentally called Chris Sabat, and I'm always accidentally called Sean Schemmel, which is interesting because that never happened until we got Dragon Ball. So I'm wondering if it's some sort of, kids are very kind to us and look up to us and are very sweet, and I wonder if it's kind of an honorific, Mr. Schemmel. I am so honored to meet, Mr. Sabat. I'm like, because it never happened before I was on Dragon Ball. Is it like
Well, you're doing somebody legendary.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I wonder if it's like they think we're legendary, and so they're like, well, I must give it a legendary accent. I don't know. I don't know.
Because I had to say Mignana, Vic Mignana.
Yes,
I had to say.
That's how you say that.
I had to say. I always say Manonia. He's like, oh God, you got it wrong.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
oh, that's funny.
Yes.
Well, okay, so yes, just Sean Schemmel. Yeah, so we got the name right. So, okay, how many minutes we got? No,
All right.
No.
All right. So very quickly, I'm actually the same question that I asked him was, with a lot of these lines, not just like doing Super, because I know Super's a whole new thing, and I know you're probably glad new material. Do you get sick of the old material?
No, look, I don't want to say I get sick of it, but like, and I'm the kind of guy, and other people. So my girlfriend's different. She will watch a show over and over and over and over and over and never get sick of it. She'll read a book over and over and over and never get sick of it. I read a book once, I'm done with it forever.
Exactly.
So if I watch a Dragon Ball, I'm done. And I watched Resurrection at least 6 times, largely because I had to, which I didn't mind. Well, no, because I kept going to premieres and then I'd sit in the movie and watch it, which is fine because I was promoting the film and I enjoyed it every time. But as far as over 20 years, I wouldn't say sick of it. It's just like you start craving more, and it's really more about character development and new stories. Mm-hmm. So one of the things I like about Super is all the tangential side stories, like Vegeta going on vacation, Goku not trying to figure out how to use a cell phone, all those little silly stuff.
I can't wait for the baseball episode.
Oh, baseball episode aired. It aired.
It aired already?
It aired on.
Oh, man, I missed it then.
It aired. We dubbed the baseball episode. There's the episode where coming up where Goku and Krillin have to go get Master Roshi a magic herb in exchange for his porn collection, which kids watch this, and I'm like, all right.
My sons are watching.
Yes, I'm like, all right. Well, we know what's going on here, and so I am excited about new stories and new material, and I'm really excited that Akira Toriyama Sensei is heavily involved in this one. He's very heavily involved. It looks like the manga come to life. You guys seen the trailer, right?
Oh yeah.
It's up to 2.7 million views today from after airing yesterday.
It was ridiculous. Everybody's already.
I'm beside myself on how we're gonna make this. Well, I know we're gonna make it great, but I'm just like, I can't wait. Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see the whole thing, and I just can't wait till that day where I step into the booth and go, all right, we're gonna roll now. I'm really excited. So so I'm still waking up. I haven't eaten caffeine today. I'm like so sleepy.
You got what's your question?
So one of my questions to you would be, out of all the times that you voiced Goku, what has been your favorite line, or your favorite moment of voicing Goku?
Look, my favorite moments, Battle of Gods and Resurrection F are the best work I've ever done. Those are my 2 favorite things of all time for work I've done as Goku. And it varies. I mean, I tend to look, I do like the epic moments. I do. I got goosebumps when I watch both. I got goosebumps when I watch it in Japanese. I got goosebumps when I watch it in English yesterday at the panel. So I definitely, the epic moments really, but I really love, I'm a big comedy fan, and I love the comedic moments. I really enjoyed in Battle of Gods. I had to do the Goku King Kai scene where Goku and King Kai are talking to Beerus when he shows up. I love doing that scene. But I also loved, I will let you destroy my world. That part was really exciting. Anytime where it's either epically like that or epically funny is when I tend to, or epically goofy. When Goku's just being a doofus, I really like it. I really do, yeah.
Goku a bad father to you?
We joke about that a lot.
Everybody jokes about that.
And, Child Protective Services definitely would have been called if they found out he left Gohan in the forest with a green alien. So, yeah, definitely there's that.
The dragon.
I think Goku's a nice guy, but I think he got hit on the head as a kid, which we know, and just all he cares about is fighting. He's just like, all I want to do is fight. I want to fight the strongest. And Akira Toriyama said he wanted to make not a typical hero, that he wasn't necessarily the savior of the universe per se. He wants to fight the strongest, and if the Earth gets saved as a result of that, I hope I'm doing the quote right, because I hate to misquote the man. That was interesting to him. So when we did Z, Funimation was trying to really put an American spin on it, and the more and more I learned about the character as we were working on it, especially for Kai, I'm like, well, Goku can be the hero, and save the universe, and he does care when someone's attacking your planet, but really what he cares about is fighting the strongest no matter what. Yeah. Which is interesting. I mean, Akira Toriyama's right. It is an interesting take on the hero. You know what I mean? And especially when you juxtapose it to things like Joseph Campbell and the hero and the myth, which is something I'm really into in terms of the mythology around heroes and why we look up to heroes, and I think it's part of the zeitgeist and part of our collective unconscious of our species as humans. That hero idea. And so, which is represented by many heroes. Luke Skywalker, there's lots of different heroes that wear the mask, the hero in the mask. So check it out. It's Joseph Campbell stuff from the 80s. He did a multi-part series on PBS and wrote several books on the hero and the myth. And that's and Goku's the story of the Monkey King and the Great Journey West. So it's based on that. So I think that's another reason it has power. It's based in ancient tales. That resonate throughout human history and therefore always resonate because they're universally true for humans. So it's an interesting story. So I guess I'm rambling here. I'm still waking up again.
I know. It's all good.
I do want to mention. Thank you. I do want to mention one thing. Probably greatest moment ever. We talked about this since high school. Oh, no more. I think it was No More Rules. Cell games, instant transmission Kamehameha on Cell.
Yeah.
Hands down, probably
that's one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah.
I've said that in other interviews.
Yeah.
Kamehameha, instant transmission, when I saw that, I was like, this is going to be great. It's going to work. And it didn't work. He was like, oh, yes, you thought you beat me, but I'm regenerating from multiple parts of me. So that was irritating to me.
And it's no offense to, I keep on forgetting her name. The woman that does the voice of Goku in Japanese. No offense to her.
Masamozawa. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's amazing. But that moment, we always talk about that. That's when he became the Goku.
Oh,
that's
you think
when
it's
you
that?
became the
You think
Goku.
it's that day?
That day, that's like,
well, funny you mentioned that because for me, there actually is a day.
Oh, really?
And for me, I was trepidatious about taking the role. I wasn't trepidatious about taking it. I was trepidatious about stepping into the role because I was taking over from the Canadian cast members because Funimation had moved production from Canada to the U.S. And they really wanted me to sound as much like the previous actor as possible. And I had studied their work and really focused on it. And then the day I stepped into the booth to do the Super Saiyan transformation the first time, after that transformation, I was done. I was like, okay, I'm not studying that anymore. It's mine now.
It's mine now. Yeah, at this point, you have no choice.
For me, it was then. But if you think it's at that moment, I'm with you there too. It's fine.
I think when I can agree with that. You
don't have to. I mean, you guys have your own. You think if I don't want to argue.
No. I agree with that because at that point you kind of stepped into your own.
Yeah.
But when you got to that level where we said, oh, that's the voice of Goku.
Yeah.
That's when it was at Kamehameha.
Also, what made that moment so big for us was we were following the show, the original Japanese dub on the international channel, and at that time, the American version had caught up with the Japanese dub.
Oh, okay.
So when we were watching it, ironically, both of those episodes aired like that same week.
Really?
It did. It was like some
because the Japanese one aired on Sunday night, and we saw that episode like Monday morning,
Really?
like Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
And when we watched it, I said, I'm done with the international channel. Like, I'm
Because
done.
it was raw Japanese, just to prove our nerdiness. It's in raw Japanese.
Yeah.
There's no subtitles,
None.
so we're just watching.
Can you speak? You guys speak Japanese? You guys read it, listen to it in Japanese?
Okay, this guy lives in Japan. Doesn't
you
know
do?
a lick of Japan.
You live in Japan? How'd you get over here? Did you fly over here? Wait, where do you live?
I live in Tokyo, and please don't hurt me. I had to borrow the Nimbus.
But I think but at that point we was like, yeah, that's him. That's him at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, we moved on. Now, with this would probably be the last question. With Super going into his next, well, at least the best part of Super, which is going into the tournament.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of it?
I don't watch it ahead.
Oh,
Because,
really?
Well, here's the thing. It's important to note. I think people, and I'm talking more and more about this in other interviews. I think people are like, hey, I'm a fan of Dragon Ball. You're a fan of Dragon Ball. Also, you play Goku. I'm not a fan, but I can't be a fan. Meaning, I think being a fan of something you're working on is dangerous because it can help you. It'll make you compromise your judgment if you're geeking out about something you want to do. And you're like, oh, wouldn't it be great if we did this? And then you realize artistically it doesn't actually work, but it would be cool otherwise. And that's what happens with a lot of our outtakes. If we have an outtake that's funny, we're like, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could release that? And every time, once in a while, one will get through that's a legitimate joke that we think will work in the universe of Dragon Ball. If we want to just add a little humor here and there, but. Which some fans really hate. I'm like, okay, well, it doesn't destroy the show, you guys. Just relax.
Japanese humor is hard to translate.
It's hard to translate. And I was an ADR director in New York for 3 years, and I had to work on shows that I had to translate a lot of humor. And sometimes I just really sometimes it was ununderstandable. And I'm like, I got to make up a joke here. Like, a lot of times you get what the joke and what they're trying to say, but it's just not that funny for us. And so you want to spice it up a little bit. But sometimes it is just clueless. You're like, I have no idea what's going on. I better just make something up, which doesn't really happen on Dragon Ball hardly at all. But wait, there was somewhere I was going with this. Wait, what'd you say? Sorry, I'm still waking up. Wait, what was you?
I was talking about the tournament. I was saying, you said.
Oh, I
because
don't
you
watch
got
ahead
family
because
stuff,
I don't watch ahead because the Japanese cast is not watching ahead either. And Goku is not, doesn't have a time machine, so he doesn't know what's going to happen in the future. So I'm living the character. Like I'm a fan of the show, but I have to suspend that to work. So if I look ahead and I know what's going to happen, it may affect my performance negatively. It could affect it positively, but I tend to like to be really fresh in the booth. Every once in a while, I'll need to look ahead for some technical reason. Chris is like, there's some screams coming up you might want to look at just to see how you're going to map that out or whatever. But generally, I stay in the dark.
I'm sorry. I just heard when you said that, I heard his voice.
Oh, so you want to map that out? You want to chase Sean? You want to look ahead at some of the other screams in the show because they're kind of long. You might want to practice those a little bit.
That's what Chris. And my voice is lower in the morning, so I can do the Chris voice early. I can't go as low as him, but yeah, and I'm really proud of the trailer. One of the things I was thinking last night, and I was going to tell Chris about this. I'm a musician. And I come from a background in classical music, so I think of music in terms of notes and then colors and timbre and how orchestration works. And one of the things I noticed about the trailer last night after I watched it several times was just our cast. It was me and Chris Ayers. I think Damian Clark might have played Paragus. I don't know what's going on with the other cast members because I didn't know who was all in it. But what I thought was really interesting, at least in terms of how it came together, and having a chance to tell Chris this, was that the timbre of everything was a really nice salad. The texture of Chris's voice, my voice, Chris Ayers, it all came together. And so I look at it as a cohesive whole where a lot of times you can have a scene where many of the actors sound similar or the pitches are similar and you kind of got too much of one flavor, but it all just came together in this color spectrum. For me, that was like, this really, really great. So that's kind of how I interpreted the sound for that one. It's really, I think I'm going to lose sleep over this before we get to record because the whole movie looks like that trailer, which I think it will. In fact, I'm confident it's going to, at the high frame rate and the high detail of animation. Man, people are going to be jumping out of their seats. It's going to be the biggest. I thought Resurrection F was the biggest thing I could ever do with Dragon Ball, and I think this is going to top it, which is funny because, like, the show is now imitating the art. Dragon Ball keeps getting bigger, and then the show itself keeps getting bigger. So it's you know what I'm saying, going to a higher level, way over 9,000. Yeah.
All right, two more things. Number one, who has passed out in the booth?
Me and Eric Vale.
Thought so.
I know Eric Vale did. I heard the story about Eric Vale.
Yeah.
And last but not least, could you please shout out our podcast as Goku?
I'll try. Hey, it's me. Oh man, I don't think I can. It's me, Goku. Oh man, I get that. I always use that as my hook because. And by the way, the subtext of "Hey, it's me, Goku," ever since I've done it, has always been, "You're excited to meet me." Like, "Hey, it's me, Goku. You're excited to meet me." Like, you know what I mean? Like not narcissistically, but just like, I'm excited to meet me. Are you excited to meet me? Like, so you're listening to 3 black guys and 1 white guy. No, actually, I just had my DNA tested. So you listen to 3 black guys and 1 guy who's 16% Irish, British, and 12% Italian, and 12% Armenian, and a lot of Neanderthal DNA. I have a lot of Neanderthal DNA. And I'm also, I can't do the Goku. My voice is shit.
You're listening. I can do Kid Kai pretty well. All right. This is Kid Kai. You're listening to 3 black Kid. Wait, shit. This is Kid.
I'm reading this off his shirt.
This is Kid Kai. And you're listening to 3 black geeks and
What color is King Kai? He's blue.
and 1 blue god.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I just like the sound.